Most of you have probably already heard about the Ontario man that got scammed out of $400,000 in his life savings via a cryptocurrency scheme. But this is not just an isolated scheme. This is a large international scam process. Have you heard of pig butchering? It hasn't gotten the exposure in Canada as much as it needs to. And pig butchering is very challenging because it actually takes a complex series of scams all in one, similar to how a butcher would cut up a pig. Now, the traditional part of this scam is an investment scam, where the attacker gets you to invest in a project or a scheme, or gets you to a website that is actually controlled by illicit actors and criminals and makes you think that you're making gains, but the real problem is that you're unable to withdraw the funds. You really don't even have any funds in your account. You're really just giving money over to these attackers, which is similar to what we saw in the scheme by the Ontario victim. Secondly, they have things called romance or friendship schemes. This is where the attacker will lure you in via dating apps or WhatsApp messages. They'll start to manipulate you into an actual relationship and then unfortunately get you to turn over funds via cryptocurrency, which is immutable and irreversible. The biggest plot twist of this all is that the scammers are actually victims of human trafficking. So in places like Cambodia and Laos that usually have these big resorts that attract Chinese residences for gambling and other casino activities were completely decimated by the pandemic due to the restrictions in travel. So many of those resorts were forced into the underground. They've actually lured people in with fake opportunities of high compensation, and when those people got there, they were beaten, they were in clothes, and they were actually forced to scam other people at the risk of being killed. One of the big differences between this scams and other scams is that the attackers have time. They take their time, they're very meticulous. They don't rush to try and get money or cryptocurrency from the victim. It's usually drawn out through a long period of time. Some of these attackers even build long-term connections, checking up on victims if they have appointments for things like cancer, especially during the pandemic, where many of these victims were isolated from their family and weren't notifying their family that they were turning over these funds to attackers. If you want to hear ways I think we can provide solutions to potential victims and bring more awareness into Canada, I would love to continue this discussion. Thanks very much.